welcome back to All About That Disney Life. I am Danny B, the girl who is all about that Disney life. We now move on to Fun and Fancy Free, which came out in 1947. This movie is another musical animation that Walt Disney created after World War II, and we'll get on to why he made this movie and a few other musical animation projects as we go on with this video. But let's get to know this amazing cast who helped make this movie possible. We had Edgar Bergen, a famous ventriloquist who played himself, and he brought along his pals Charlie and Mortimer. We'll get to know about them as we go on. We had Luana Patton as herself. We had Dinah Shore as a singer, a narrator, and Lulu Bell in the story Bongo that's in the movie. We had Jimmy McDonald as Bongo and Lumpjaw. There were two bears that were in the story Bongo. We had Cliff Edwards as Jiminy Cricket, Walt Disney as Mickey Mouse, Clarence Nash as Donald Duck, Pinto Colvig as Goofy. We had Billy Gilbert as Willie the Giant. We had Anita Gordon as the Golden Harp, and we had the Kingsmen, who were the Bears and the Happy Valley Crows. Now we move on to the facts all about Fun and Fancy Free. Number one, the musical animation package was a quick way for Walt Disney to make a quick buck. After World War II, Disney Studios were very low on funds, considering that the last full-length animation movies that Walt Disney sent out into the world, they were complete flops, box office-wise. So Disney looked at half-finished projects that he had lined up to make a full-length feature movies. He decided to combine stories together into different musical animation films, which became the Fantasy Package. Those 6 films were Saludos Amigos, The Three Caballeros, which we talked about in the last video, Fun and Fancy Free, Make Mine Music, Melody Time, and The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Number 2, the musical fantasy packages helped to fund future Disney movies down the road. It helped fund future movies that were coming up, like Cinderella, Alice in Wonderland, and Peter Pan. Fun and Fancy Free premiered on September 27th, 1947. It made over $3 million worldwide, and over $2 million came from the United States and Canada. Number 3, the story of Bongo. So our first story in Fun and Fancy Free is the story of Bongo. It was based on a short story by Sinclair Lewis, and it was originally called Little Bear Bongo. It was written for a Cosmopolitan magazine in 1930. The story of Bongo was supposed to be a full-length movie when Walt Disney bought the film rights in April 1941. Bongo became a headliner for different Disney comics. Bongo was also a little character in one of the first Disney Little Golden books, which was published in 1948. And this story was narrated by Dinah Shore. Number 5, the story of Mickey and the Beanstalk. This was supposed to be a full-length feature film as well, and it was based on the fairy tale Jack and the Beanstalk. And this story is narrated by Edgar Bergen. The original name for Mickey and the Beanstalk was supposed to be The Legend of Happy Valley, but Walt wanted the title changed to make it clear that Disney's biggest star was returning to screen, because Mickey wasn't seen in any cartoons since the early 1940s. Basically, Walt Disney needed a way to return Mickey to the big screen, and this movie returned Mickey to the screens before his first short in 5 years, Mickey's Delayed Date, which came out October 3rd, 1947. Number 5, deleted material. There was a scene where Mickey, Donald, and Goofy woke up Willie the Giant's toddler son, and his son thought that Mickey, Donald, and Goofy were toys. During the Fee, Fi, Fo, Fum song, it was originally supposed to be longer, where Willie turns himself into a 3-headed dragon, a walrus, and other stuff. Also, Honest John and Gideon the Cat from Pinocchio were supposed to be the con artists who tricked Mickey into selling his cow for the magic beans. Another version had Minnie Mouse as a queen to present Mickey with the magic beans. And there was a song called I'm a Happy-Go-Lucky Fellow that is sung by Jiminy Cricket in the beginning of Fun and Fancy Free, and it was supposed to be used in Pinocchio, so at least recycled music got used. Number 6, Fun and Fancy Free was the last time we heard Walt Disney portray Mickey Mouse. He recorded the script for Mickey and the Beanstalk during the spring and summer of 1941. Disney got other duties with the company that he couldn't voice Mickey anymore, so he asked sound effects man Jimmy McDonald to take over. And he agreed, and he had voiced Mickey for 3 decades, from 1941 until 1971. Basically, the end of it all, Mickey and the Beanstalk is part Walt Disney, part Jimmy McDonald. But Walt did reprise his role as Mickey on his TV show on special occasions. Number 7, different narrators. Edgar Bergen was the original storyteller for Mickey and the Beanstalk. When the movie aired on Walt Disney's Wonderful World of Color in 1963, Bergen was replaced by Professor Ludwig von Drake. Another version had Sterling Holloway narrate the story. And also in the early 1970s, Shari Lewis and Lamb Chop. Anybody remember Lamb Chop? If you're a 90s kid like me, you would remember who Lamb Chop was. They took on the role as narrator. Number 8, Jiminy got a new job. As we all know, Jiminy Cricket was Pinocchio's conscience in the movie, but then Jiminy Cricket became this movie's headliner. Fun and Fancy Free was the beginning of Jiminy Cricket's solo career. He was a narrator, educator, and MC, especially on the original Mickey Mouse Club, where he had his own segment during that program. Jiminy Cricket also hosted Disney's hour-long primetime series, starting with 1955's Jiminy Cricket Presents Bongo, where Jiminy Cricket takes the spot of Dinah Shore singing and telling the story of Bongo. Number 9, all about Mr. Bergen. Edgar Bergen and Walt Disney were very close friends. Edgar Bergen was an actor and a ventriloquist. He, along with his pal Charlie McCarthy, were on a popular radio comedy show, and Walt Disney asked Edgar and Charlie to be part of Fun and Fancy Free, along with their other good friend, Mortimer. Disney also made a lot of appearances on the radio with Edgar and Charlie over the years, and Walt appeared on the radio with Bergen and Charlie on September 21st, 1947, to celebrate the release of Fun and Fancy Free. 3 years later, Edgar and Charlie appeared on Walt Disney's first TV production, Disney's Hour in Wonderland, which premiered on Christmas Day, 1950. So those are all the fun facts about Fun and Fancy Free. I know they're short, but that's all I could find. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe. And I hope you have a fun and zippity-doo-dah day. Goodbye.